Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's take a moment of silence to reflect on our day ahead. Now here's Miss Heisey with the book review.
For Augie Pullman and Colin Fisher, it's the start of the school year at a new school. That can be difficult for any kid, or teacher for that matter. Now, add in the facts that each of them is really smart, sometimes too smart. Has a girl that understands them really well. Has to face mean people repeatedly. Face bullies and difficulties? That's key. Wonder is about Augie Pullman, born with craniofacial abnormalities. His eyes are about an inch below where they should be on his face, almost to halfway down his cheeks. They slant downward at an extreme angle, almost like diagonal slits that someone cut into his face, and the left one is noticeably lower than the right. They bulge outwards because his eye cavities are too shallow to accommodate them. The top eyelids are always halfway closed, and it's like he's on the verge of sleeping. The lower eyelids sag so much they almost look like a piece of invisible string is pulling them downward. You can see the red part on the inside, like they're almost inside out. He doesn't have eyebrows or eyelashes. His nose is disproportionately big for his face and kind of fleshy. His head is pinched on the sides, where his ears should be, like someone used giant pliers and crushed the middle part of his face. He doesn't have cheekbones. There are deep creases running down both sides of his nose to his mouth, which gives him a waxy appearance. Sometimes people assume he's been burned in a fire. His features look like they've been melted, like the drippings on the side of a candle. Several surgeries have tried to correct this. The R word comes to mind, scary to look at. No way he can be normal, but he is inside. He gets it. He has emotions, plenty of them, but he deals with it from his quiet inner strength. He just wants to blend in and be one of the guys. Can he? It's a wonder how. Colin Fisher, on the other hand, has Asperger's. He has the face like most any other kid, but not the emotions. This story is a great look at the Asperger's syndrome from Colin's point of view, and how he has learned to read faces and recognize emotions in others and work to have self-control and respond appropriately. Something very difficult for someone in his shoes. Someone who is alarmed by change, noise, being touched, unusual odors. Once more, Colin opened his mouth. This time, the cell phone interrupted him with a song, the 1812 Overture. Once more, he counted to 3, taking in deep breaths. "Knock it off," Mr. Gates snapped. "Last warning." The music ended, but Colin was working to force the words out between breaths and finish his speech. A cacophony of sound drowned out the rest of his words. The cell phone rang again, loud and shrill, not stopping. Not music, not a ring, not anything pleasant, just noise. Colin put his hands to his ears to shut it out, only dimly aware of Mr. Gates charging down the aisle. He squeezed his eyes shut, gasping at the rest of the class as they laughed and pointed, and Mr. Gates searched in vain for the source of the noise. This was all too much for Colin to bear, so he did the one thing he knew would drown out the noise. Colin barked like a dog. Louder and louder, so focused on his barking, he didn't notice Mr. Gates discover and shut off the offending phone. He didn't notice the stares in his direction from around the room. He didn't notice Rudy Moore's mouth wide open in deep laughter, showing off his eyes. Most of all, he didn't notice himself collapse to the floor, huddled in a ball, with his hands over his ears, still barking, as Mr. Gates called the school office for help. But remember, what Colin lacks in emotion and understanding, he makes up for in intelligence, and despite the bullies who want to see him fail, he's instrumental in solving the riddle of who fired a gun in the student cafeteria. So there you have it, 2 great options in the realistic fiction genre. There's a bit of humor in each, acts of cruelty and kindness, and a great opportunity to meet and appreciate 2 faceless young men. Come to the library soon and look for Wonder by R.J. Palacio and Colin Fisher by Ashley Edward Miller and Zach Stentz. Read at Mead.
Hello, Margaret Mead students and staff on this thrilling Thursday morning. I'm Ian Tate.
And I'm Ed.
And we're here with today's top stories. There's still time. Hey, students, 2 days left until the end of the Super Beards Bowl. We are looking for a few good pennies or even dollars. If you have no change, why not try donating a dollar? $1 bill equals about 2 pounds in pennies, so why not drop off $1 towards your favorite beard? Help a teacher win, and more importantly, a pet in need.
The Learning Center will be open today after school. Make plans to stay and get your work completed. Work on projects or study for tests. You can take the 4 o'clock bus home.
To Miss Gardner's media class completing the special food pantry project, please let Miss Andrews or Mrs. Gardner know if you are staying after today to rehearse and film. They really appreciate all your hard work to get this done. Mrs. James and Miss Garfinkel appreciate it too.
Lost and Found will be cleaned out on Friday, so please check to see if you have anything in there. All items left will be donated. The birthday shout-outs for today goes to Fred Lee. Happy birthday! Also, it's the birthday of the famous Jackie Robinson. Happy birthday.
He did it for us, baby. It's all us. Well, that's all for today. Remember to be compliant both in and out of school.
I'm Alec.
And I'm Ian Tate.
Adios, amigos.
Adios, my